Dr. Cosmas Mikilize, Dr. Andrew Katumba, and many others who have supported the organization of this symposium, which brings together researchers and stakeholders from different disciplines and sectors. In the COST research project and the Department of Computer Science, as well as the college, we gladly associate with this symposium. This symposium provides an important platform to share various research that has been ongoing on in the university in AI with a specific focus on applications in health. But just to emphasize that we also have ongoing research on AI with applications in other sectors, such as agriculture and many others. I would like to add my voice to unpack the terminology AI, has already been introduced by Dr. Nakatumba. Sometimes when we talk about AI or artificial intelligence in full, it might sound intimidating to some or unclear, which leads to vaguely understanding the possibilities or the limitations of the AI technology. In many cases, thinking that AI can solve all the problems or having unclear expectations of what we can do with AI. But in a brief, AI involves trying to develop computing systems that incorporate human intelligence in a way empowering computing systems to be able to have the ability to perform tasks that would normally be taken on by a human being, but without necessarily replacing a human being, only to improve the efficiency, reduce the cost of performing tasks, or taking over completely repetitive and complex tasks that would otherwise require more cost or human resources. Some specific fields of AI have also emerged, such as machine learning, that focuses on using data to improve the intelligence of computing systems. During this event, we'll have an opportunity to showcase some of the research outputs from the different projects, such as COST and the others, in the different colleges within this university and our partners, including AI-driven detection and diagnosis tools to improve patient care and management, data-driven decision support systems, and also translation or interpretation of complex data sets to inform decision-making and policy tracking. The COST project in particular is an example of what AI can do, and some of the projects you see here as well are the demonstration of what AI can do in the health sector. At the Department of Computer Science, we've also pioneered AI research for malaria diagnosis, environmental health, specifically air pollution tracking and modeling, natural language processing, providing a baseline for building language translation technology that can inform communication across the different languages that we have in the country. We also have demonstrated case studies of AI in agriculture, finance, among others. In short, we have demonstrated the capabilities of AI, and with this we are able to also support the undergraduate and graduate education and research in the field of AI and machine learning since 2009. And this has been possible through partnerships and collaborations, and we have been able to build some human resource capacity, especially at the AI lab, which is led by Dr. Joyce Nakatumba, to support training of master's and PhD research in AI and data science. As we advance AI in health research and innovations, a number of opportunities and challenges are emerging. For example, we know that we still have challenges to accessing equitable and inclusive data sets to facilitate AI research. To be able to undertake AI research, we need access to data, and access to data sets, especially in the health sector, remains a challenge, and we call upon support from different partners to facilitate research by providing access to data. For AI researchers, we also know that there are a number of challenges to pay attention to. Things like AI fairness, privacy, ethics, algorithmic biases, and explainability of the AI systems that we develop. We don't want to develop AI systems that amplify some of the biases that exist in the different sectors. We also would like to see that the AI solutions that have been developed can be scaled up to commercial products that can impact on the sector. With that said, I would like to say that to be able to advance impactful AI in research, AI in health research, we need collaborations with people across disciplines, health, mathematics, engineering, computer sciences, and the others. And I hope that this AI in Health Symposium will provide a platform to strengthen these collaborations across the university in the region, as well as internationally. I would like to thank our collaborators and partners, the Infectious Disease Institute, the Uganda Cancer Institute, Mulago Hospital, CEDAT, ECURI, which is the Ernest Cook Ultrasound Research and Education Institute, IDRC, Canada, CIDA, Lacuna Fund, Google, Government of Uganda, Data Science Africa, the continent and the local chapters, as well as other partners. As I conclude, I would also like to appreciate the support we receive from the college, from the university, the government of Uganda, and many other development partners as we collaborate together to see that we can grow the AI sector in Uganda. Once again, I thank you all for coming to this AI in Health Symposium and wish you good deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Engineer Binomjisha. I will now tap into the wisdom of Professor Tony Oyana.
I think, take off my mask. You won't be at risk. I'm 3 times vaccinated. Good morning. Like you have been told, my name is Tono Yana. I'm a professor of GIS and spatial analysis. I'm also the college principal for the College of Computing and Information Sciences. I welcome you all to this important symposium. I think it is a big deal because the lab has decided really to broadcast this message. So I thank the head of that lab, Dr. Joyce Nabende, for doing this. I want to honor and acknowledge the presence of our Minister of Science, Technology and Innovations, Dr. Monica Musaniro, for gracing this occasion. You really make it a big deal because, as I said, the PI has decided to move away from the lab and bring this stuff out so that people appreciate it more and more. And artificial intelligence is really having limitless what? Boundaries, okay? I want to acknowledge my colleagues, the one representing the Vice Chancellor and representing herself, Dr. Dorothy Okello. I know you are enthusiastic about these tools, so it is good to see you here. My colleague, Professor Wiyinza, the Director of Research and Graduate Training. Your voice is very important so that you can amplify this message across graduate students and those who are conducting research. The Grants Administrator and the Management Support Unit, it is brand new. Professor Grace, you're welcome. Engineer Binomjisha, the head of department. I don't know where he has gone to. Very important and key to this process. And again, Dr. Joyce Nabende for having the courage to bring us together. I want to structure my conversation instead of a speech around 3 themes. First, I'll give a personal narrative. Then I'll go to the generic aspects. Some of them have been mentioned already. And finally, I'll look at the current status of AI, and then I'll be done. I first got of the concept AI when I went to do my master's in 1995 in GIS. My background is in biology, geography. That's what I did, a double major at the University of Dar es Salaam. Okay? So when a colleague who knew me met me, he said, you need to go for your master's. And he told me a master's in GIS. I had no clue what I was getting into. But I was excited. Anybody living Uganda has tons and tons of excitement. Okay? It was my first time to leave Uganda, and for that matter, to go to Europe. So I arrived in Ireland to unpack that word called GIS and understand what they had given me and the opportunity and what lay in that opportunity. We had a senior lecturer who was the one leading in teaching us GIS. You see, the first experience you have in life when you have not heard about new concepts, you think that they are throwing things at you. So I would sit in the lecture and I say, I don't know what I got into. But also back in my mind, I was saying, I don't want to go back to Uganda because, like Julius Nyerere said, when they send you for an opportunity or to bring stuff back home, you should not embarrass the Tanzanians. So I said I didn't want to embarrass my family because it was prestigious to leave the country and go travel outside. Okay? Everybody looked forward to that. But I had a colleague who was working on a small research project for his thesis. He was a white boy, and all the time he was carrying those books. Then the operating systems were still DOS-based. You had to know the commands to run anything. So he could pull me aside and say, I'm working on an AI project. So I told him I still need to deal with this GIS stuff before you pull me into that. But over time, he pushed on. And he was working on some interesting projects. So in 1995 is when I first came in encounter with artificial intelligence. Okay? In the literature, the person who brought artificial intelligence to GIS is Openshaw. He was at the University of Liverpool in 1988. Okay? But for starters, AI is now very popular. AI was actually introduced by a professor at Dartmouth University. It's a Catholic university in the USA in 1956. He was called John McCarthy. So some of these tools have been around, but they found a second life. Because when something is first introduced, it is unpopular. Okay? I had one professor actually tell me that most of the things we have currently developed in the 50s and in the 60s. We are just getting excited about some of them. Okay? So, and he defined at that time as something that incorporates natural language processing. All those are strange words. Okay? Engineer did define it when he was talking here. Expert systems, neural networks, and robotics. You can see how heavy that is. You have robotics, neural networks, expert systems, and natural language processing. So imagine you're a student sitting in class. You have to unpack all that. And the core functions were, at that time, information extraction and retrieval. That was the first role of AI. Machine translation and speech recognition. Recently, I was looking at AI being used for those who are deaf so that the words can be translated. It was on the BBC. You can see how far it has come in terms of speech recognition. But AI makes things smarter. It can customize a lot of things, especially repetitive things. If you told me to jump 1,000 times, I would not like you for life. But you can order a computer to do repetitive tasks and jump 1,000 what? Times. That's why they are becoming more efficient. And when you have a superabundance of knowledge, it would even be good. Okay? I want now to come to the current status. In an article last year, this is a technology journalist wrote, any routine job that can easily be defined by mathematics or logic equation is at risk. Colleagues, I want to name some of the professions he named that were at risk with this AI revolution that is exploding in front of our eyes. If you're a travel agent, already you see that most people book their tickets online, and they can even propose alternatives for you, like a holiday, a hotel. Okay? It is there. So a travel agent, you know, when we are going out, you'd go to the travel agent who would do all the booking for you. That job is at risk. Real estate. You see? You still see them in Kampala. That one will be no more, according to this smart journalist. Clerical work. Lawyering. So you can imagine 20 years from now, the school of law may not be in its form as it is now, because most of the things will be automated. You will have super knowledge of the law, and the computer will be advising you on how to plead. Cashiers. Okay? So if you are developing your long-term plans, be careful about this. Accountants. Most of the accounting work can be automated. Financial planners. News updates. Instead of having a human being reading news, there will be a robot reading the what? The news. IT support. That's now within the IT area. The IT support will be provided by supercomputers. And many other more. Please forgive me if I've broken your heart. But that's where the future is moving to. And you'll find that graduates or current students will have to rethink their careers because of those changes. So with those few words, I welcome the expansion of AI, first in Makerere University because we have to consolidate it, to other higher institutions in Uganda, and a lot more in other areas. And I thank the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovations to be here to tell us about her thoughts, but also I would like to inform her that AI is going to change everything, whether you like it or you don't. Okay? From suggesting a shopping list, from teaching you how to save your money. Actually, recently one was brought and it was talking like a human being. And that's the future. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you for coming to join us in this dialogue that we are having to see how we can draw benefits and expand AI in this country. I know you sit with other ministers, but AI is now being introduced at very early levels. There are schools. This is why if you want to stay ahead of the curve, you have to think early. There are primary schools that already do AI, especially in the developed world. So if you want to move very fast, we must find a way of terming and including AI in our thought process, but also in our curriculums. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Dr. Joyce. I thank you for the courage and the vision for leading this AI expansion in the country and in other applications.
Thank you, Professor Tony Oyana, for those insightful remarks. Before we get the next speech, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize the presence of Professor Michael Grace Kawoya, the director of Ekirei Mengo Hospital. Professor, you're most welcome. Mr. Richard Malumba, research officer from Ekirei. Thank you for coming. Dr. Andrew Katumba, the scientific lead of Makoni Lab in SEDAT. So let's now get remarks from Professor Grace Wantebia.
Well, good morning. I think we should still be observing some of these things. I know COVID is. I still believe we need to do it. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Our guest of honor, the chief guest, Honorable and Dr. Monica Masenero, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovations. The Vice Chancellor, represented by Dr. Okela, and my colleagues who are speaking here and the audience. I would like us really to appreciate the minister. I was in a meeting recently with her. She said for Makerere, she's part of Makerere, she will always be there. When we invite her, she always comes, and she has kept that. So thank you very much. Give her a big, big clap. And at that meeting, she presented an outstanding presentation of what her ministry will be working on, like a strategic direction. Honorable, I think when you listen to the presentation today, I think Makerere fits in very, very well, and we're very, very glad to associate with you as we drive the AI, as my colleagues have advanced. My name is Grace Bantewe Chomuhendo, and I'm now heading the new unit of Grants Administration and Management in Makerere University. This is a unit that has been established to bring together all the research projects and innovations in a comprehensive manner to ensure that they are well managed and coordinated. Before this unit was established, we know we have colleges, we have schools who have been really working very hard. Most of these projects are in the schools, and they will remain in schools. What the unit will do is just to bring them together in a clear, a good, well-established database system, so that at any one point, the university is aware what is existing in terms of these projects, who are the PIs, and what are the contributions these projects are making to, one, the SDGs, but also to the overall development of this country, and informing the NDP, for now the NDP 3. So this is really the main reason for establishing this unit. Secondly, also, is the unit is mandated by the policy that was passed in 2020 to support staff and faculty in terms of searching for grants, grant writing, and also management, including monitoring and evaluation to ensure that the grants that are received are well utilized, but more so to monitor their contribution to the government policies and development, but also for documenting the innovations and research outputs. As GAMUSU, we are very proud to be part of this event because these are the projects that make us all proud, and we project them in our system as innovations that are going to contribute immensely to solving a number of problems, especially health problems in this country. We want at this point also to thank the government of Uganda through the Research Innovation Fund that also contributed immensely to this project and supported it, but also the other supporters, the Carnegie, IDRC, and others. So the government of Uganda spearheaded and is very central in this project, and we are very proud of what is coming out of this project. As the principal has said, there are a number of things that are really coming out that for us also in GAMUS will be documenting and actually maybe projecting as innovations that actually need scaling up or even commercialization, because they are there to solve some of the key issues. I want to raise one thing that is very passionate given what we have today, is this issue that will be presented about cancer, treatment of cancer. I can see there are a lot of things that have been done, and this provides a lot, especially for women. The cervical cancer has been problematic in this country. So for Makerere to be the lead in producing innovations that can actually address this problem, I think we need to clap for ourselves. And Honorable Minister, we pledge as a university, but also as a GAMUSU, to always keep you updated on the innovations that are coming up throughout the university, because now we have a system that we have put in place to capture all research projects and innovations coming through within Makerere University. So this gives us an opportunity to closely network and work with government and always project and highlight what is coming out that can be scaled up, that can be taken up by government, that can be commercialization. So we are really very happy that, Minister, you are here, and in your presentation, you actually presented the different stages and positions on how we can work together. And this is actually the beginning. We also really want to point out that as a university, and more so as we are celebrating the 100 years, we also have other issues we want to request. We want the government to continually support these kinds of innovation through maybe the REEF fund, but through other innovations. We would also want to work very, very closely with your ministry to promote a number of these innovations that have come through REEF funding, government funding, so that we are able to harness the benefits that are coming up. As we, in GAMUSU, as we put together this database that captures almost everything on we'll be ready to share this with the government. We should be ready to share with you as the ministry as we project and draw out some of the key research and innovations that are coming out in Makerere. Once again, I would like to thank the college and the researchers, the PIs, and those who are managing the lab for really bringing this out to the public. You say it has been inside the lab, now it is out of the lab. And this is what exactly our Honorable Minister was talking about in that meeting, that we don't need to keep these innovations in the labs or in our units. So this is it, Honorable Minister, we listened, and this has come out. I thank everybody who is here. Thank you very much, and I'm appealing to all PIs and colleges who are here that please submit your project to GAMUSU, because it has to be projected and presented in the reports that we are producing. Secondly, we are also carrying out a number of capacity building for grants writing and sensitization, but more so on the management of grants. It is easy for us to write the projects, but the research has established within this university that management has not been very easy. And so we'll build capacity of the staff in terms of managing these projects, but also close out with reports that can be shared with the government, with our donors, and within our university, and will make us all very proud. So we are looking forward to see you at Gamus's office, which is at Quarry 70, and we'll continue working with you in colleges and schools. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm super excited to have been here, and also thank our minister for coming. Having listened to what she said last time, she has kept her word, and Makerere, we're also keeping our side of agreement that we will share whatever we have, and that we have a number of innovations that we are ready to roll out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bantebya. So it is now my pleasure to invite Professor Mukadasi Buyinza, the Directorate of Research and Graduate Training. Professor, I'll request you after your remarks to invite the Vice Chancellor, who will in turn invite our guest of honor. So you won't see me for a while.
Thank you very much. Dear Honorable Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, the Acting Vice Chancellor, my colleague, the Principal, my colleague, the Administrator of Grants in Makerere, dear partners, researchers, PIs, students here present. The way the program has been made is a bit detailed. I don't want to keep the minister for long, so I will go straight to the point. Of course, on behalf of the Directorate of Research and Graduate Training, we are very much excited and pleased that you've organized this convention. I want to sincerely appreciate and recognize the effort of my colleague, Professor Engineer Bainomugisha, for taking lead. For some of you that have been around, you know for sure that the Makerere Artificial Intelligence Lab is revolutionizing business at this university. As the Directorate of Research, we've noted that there are impactful outcomes that have come out of this lab, and we really appreciate all of the efforts under the leadership of Professor Tony Oyana. Of course, we know for sure that this convention is featuring dissemination. It's a dissemination workshop where really you are to share the expertise, the products that have come out of your science and research, which really symbolizes the nature and the character of research collaboration between Makerere and the partner institutions. I'm aware that in this particular gathering, in this convention, we shall have a presence of a number of research institutions. The Cancer Institute, I'm told of the Infectious Diseases Institute. Did I hear also Mengo Hospital? And really, this is the character. This is where we want to be. Collaborative research is the game changer. I'm aware, Honorable Minister, we are all aware that each context is different and requires its own homegrown solutions. And for this, each country needs to grow its own timber, its own experts, and its own problem formulations, and its own knowledge production. This is what we call, and you have always informed us, this is the knowledge economy, the intellectual economy, intellectual autonomy that you want to see in this country. We want to renew our commitment, of course, to really support all efforts that are geared towards knowledge generation and dissemination, not only for the benefit of our community, our research community, but for this country and humanity in general. In an academic setting, it's a good academic culture for us really to mobilize, build the capacity of science to hold such annual events like this one, where science report on their research progress and also share experiences and knowledge with the wider community. I really want to thank you, the leadership of the college, for really finding it worthy investing your time and effort to conduct research, but also share it widely. As the Professor Yana has already put it, the world has moved on. We know for sure that data science is everybody's business. Everybody is talking about computer-aided solutions. And there is a time in Makerere when I heard about machine science, robotics, automated, solutions. It wasn't my business. I thought it was Dr. Okero and her peers. But I will tell you that today I'm discovering too late that really, unless I get on board, I could be left behind. I'm here, I should state that I'm here in a number of capacities. Of course, I'm a director of research and graduate training, but also most importantly, I coordinate the Carnegie Corporation of New York Support Makerere that is also co-funding the research activities leading to this convention here. And also I heard from Professor Bainomugisha that SIDA is also working behind the curtains. And for sure I coordinate, I'm the overall coordinator of the Sweden-Uganda Research Training Partnership. That gives me really a primary stake in the business of this convention, and I want to thank you. Of course, being a premier university in this country, we are a major source of various homegrown solutions and innovations and technologies that are contributing to transformation of our society. Therefore, Minister, we want to really convey our appreciation that you are with us in our business, in our mandate, and our vision of really building a research-intensive university. With those few many words, I want to invite the Acting Vice Chancellor to give her remarks, and thereafter invite the Honorable Minister. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. It's a really great pleasure and honor to stand here representing the VC. I was originally supposed to come in my own capacity as the Dean of the School of Engineering, and I had prepared to say some things about that as well. But since I have to present the VC, allow me just to say one thing as Dean, because it's not part of what he was scheduled to say, and which is to say a big, big thank you to the organizing team for this symposium. I'm very, very happy. This is something, and with engineer and the other colleagues in COSIS, this is really a big dream, that we should have more collaboration between COSIS and SEDAT. There's a lot of what we do that is together, and the technology itself brings us together because of the convergence of the 4IR, or Fourth Industrial Revolution era. So this is what I really wanted to say as Dean and share my excitement on that. Now I am going to compose myself and now give the remarks as the VC. All right, so the Minister, Science, Innovation, Office of the President, representatives from government ministries, departments and agencies, the Directorate of Research and Graduate Training, Makerere, just spoken before me, the Principal, College of Computing and Information Sciences, who really shared great stories and took us way back in time, the Principal too for the College of Engineering, Design, Art and Technology, the Chairperson, Grants Administration and Management Support Unit, GAMSU. Thank you so much for sharing also about what GAMSU is and the opportunity actually that GAMSU presents to us. The principal investigators here present, deans and heads of departments from Makerere University, representatives from the health sector, representatives from collaborating institutions, students and staff from Makerere University and other institutions here present, distinguished delegates in the room and online, ladies and gentlemen. You're all most welcome to Makerere University and to this inaugural Artificial Intelligence in Health Symposium. First, I thank the Honorable Minister, Science, Technology and Innovation, Office of the President, Honorable Monica Msenero, for gracing this occasion. Honorable, thank you for being a strong partner to this institution and for always remembering your roots. Dear guests, over the years, Makerere University has positioned itself as a leader in Uganda's science, technology, and innovation ecosystem. The work that you will see demonstrated here is but a sliver of the various research efforts our staff, students, and collaborators are engaged in. I'm very grateful on a personal note, Honorable Minister. I know how much you're committed to this space. I have been party to meetings that we have held in the task forces late into the night when you've had several other meetings, and I've just wondered how you've done it. And so I thank you so much. Oh, sorry, I should have been on the microphone. All right. So thank you so much. And please also deliver our gratitude to His Excellency the President for his relentless support to Makerere University. 3 years ago, the government started supporting the research and innovation that hundreds of researchers, including some of us here today. I'd like to reiterate our focus on actionable research, whose output demonstrates a pathway to industrial utility or commercialization. To achieve this, we emphasize that all projects must have external partners to support this effort, as well as a clear, feasible, and logical sustainability plan. I salute the external partners present here today, especially the radiologists and representatives from the healthcare industry, given the focus of the symposium. I also commend development partners and organizations, the Carnegie Corporation of New York, again we have a representative here, the International Development Research Center, and CEDA for the support to Makerere University. As I conclude, last October we launched Makerere at 100-year-long celebrations as we reflect on 100 years of existence of this institution and the imperative to leverage our capacity to positively impact and transform society. In the health sector, Uganda has serious challenges in managing both communicable and non-communicable diseases. I'm glad that the work showcased here today targets this need. As management, we will continue to create an enabling environment for innovation and community out. Along this path, we recently Innovation and Management Support Unit, GAMSU, currently led by Professor Grace Bantevia, who has shared with us, to streamline grant sourcing, management, and research translation in products and services impacting national growth. I urge all principal investigators to comply with as she has ably shared with us. Once again, I thank you for coming to Makerere University, and I wish you all fruitful discussions for God and my country. Thank you. It's now my singular honor to welcome our chief guest to address us. Honorable Monica Msenero, you are most welcome. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm the Vice Chancellor, Makerere University, the leaders at the various levels of the university hierarchy, the staff and students, representatives from the healthcare industry and all other partners, and all the dear delegates to this meeting. I bring greetings to you from Science, Technology and Innovation at Office of the President. And it's a great honor for me to be back here this morning at Makerere, and this time to participate in this Artificial Intelligence in Health symposium. As you know, I've inundated Makerere over the past 1.5 years. This is in my quest to transform Uganda science from what it was to what it should be. And in this quest, Makerere has been unfortunate or fortunate to be my prototype. That everything I think of, I want to try. And I've been in everything from inviting myself to colleges. And whenever you invite me, I take it as an opportunity to come so that we can consolidate this work, which we must do. So I've been here over and over, and I will keep coming. As we lead the country in the new agenda to make science and innovation work for us. We've had science, technology, and innovation, but it has not been working for us except for a few scientists who may be participating in our research. On a wider scale, the products have not come out, and 99% of the value for the country is in the impact of the products which come out. So ladies and gentlemen, we finally figured out why we do science, technology, and innovation. Allow me remove my mask So we finally figured out why we are doing science, technology, and innovation in Uganda. It's to solve our problems of poverty and underdevelopment. That's the main reason why we are doing science, technology, and innovation. Simple and obvious as it sounds, failure to articulate it has made us move around in circles. Now with this clarity, Uganda has entered a new era of STI. Not STI which ends on the way with talk and write, but one which ends in products and services on the market. STI which provides solutions to poverty and underdevelopment. And I can tell you, as the French poet and novelist Victor Hugo said, nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. The time for science-led socio-economic transformation, long envisioned by His Excellency, the President of Uganda, has come. And in his famous novel, The Alchemist, Paul Sethel says that when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you achieve it. My expectation and my current experience is the universe is conspiring to bring this dream to be true, because we want it, and we want it so bad. For you, Professor, you have listened to me I don't know how many times. The message is consistent. The vision is clear. It's clear. All we have to out the roadblock. So my expectation of the next few years is massive conspiracy by all players to make us achieve this vision and dream. Makerere must transform into a massive conspirator in this positive crime. The conspiracy is already ongoing. His Excellency directed the implementation of a radically unique structure for our national science, technology, and innovation system. It's headquartered now at a secretariat at Plot 106 Katalima Road in Naguru, Kampala. That's where you'll find us. This structure is totally different from any other public service structure. And it is under the direct oversight of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. And His Excellency's directive is very clear. Our goal is to grow the contribution of knowledge-based goods and services to the national economy by increasing domestic productivity, import substitution, and export of products resulting from science, technology, and innovation. I am very, very privileged to be team leader for this new, and STIOP, as we fondly call it, is mandated to provide overall strategic and policy direction, coordinate the resources all over the country, wherever they are, for implementing the science, technology, and innovation agenda in Uganda. We provide a leadership, and that leadership without too many bureaucracies and not too many rigidities, because the future is being created so fast. We cannot wait to import the future, because the owners of the future must create that future. And it is our time to create our future. And we cannot impose a lot of rigidities and bureaucracies in that. So we provide a leadership to all STI actors with a united front in implementing the new STI agenda. This agenda, whose focus is products, industrialization, and commercialization, is centered around 8 industrial value chains. For the period from now to 2026, we shall keep reviewing and it will keep evolving. These industrial value chains include the pathogen economy, for which is touched on in this symposium, Industry 4.0 plus, aeronautics and space, infrastructure innovations, productivity acceleration, import substitution, and STI value-added exports. Using these key pillars on the ground, I foresee Uganda leap into the future, not walk, not run, but leap into the future alongside developed nations as we shed off the marks of poverty and underdevelopment. I envisage to see the beginning of this here today. Makerere has not been short of activity. Makerere has been short of ambition and foresight. You are short of ambition. Your ambition is for what you see. The ambition should be into the future. The ambition should be to create the Uganda we want, not to run and walk into the Uganda which is provided for us. We are the creators, we are the artists, the molders of the Uganda which we want. And I don't see any other place where that should be molded in Uganda than at Makerere. Because any other university is a grandchild. or a great-grandchild to this great institution. So we should be at the forefront of creating the future of Uganda. So using these key pillars, I foresee Uganda leap into the future alongside developed nations as we shed off poverty and underdevelopment. That's more in our mindset, actually. It's in the mindset. It limits us, sets very close boundaries, sets the ceiling very low. Once we shed off that thinking, we'll be able to leap. I envisage to see the beginning of this here today. From the subject, I anticipate that the products on show here are going to be an intersection of the pathogen economy and Industry 4.0 plus. To implement this ambitious mandate, we have had to create the best, we have had to curate the best and unique individuals from throughout the country. STI has a very lean structure at the moment, but one of the places we looked was Makerere University. We did not seek permission from the individuals or the institution at the beginning. Once the criteria was given by His Excellency, scouts went out to identify those who fit that criteria, and we got several candidates. We got only one candidate fit to head and drive the industrial value chains. And we found that person here at Makerere. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the Superintendent Industrial Value Chains at STIOP, Dr. Cosmas Mwikirize. Let people see you. That's a very powerful man in the country now. Sorry, I didn't seek for permission. Neither did His Excellency. He just gave a directive. Cosmas was informed after the directive, and I have had a good discussion with the Vice Chancellor, and we are finalizing the modalities of how he will work. But the President has signed the instrument appointing him in that position. So if you have one of the best among the best, I don't see why we shouldn't create the future we want. Widen those small hearts of yours and let's go for it. One of my biggest challenges was to find an individual with a big enough imagination and ambition to head the Industry 4.0 Bureau. I can tell you that we started this work, and when we were planning for the exhibition at the Science Week at Kololo, Industry 4.4 failed. I continuously had to come in and, and yet this for me, I see it as the bullet head. It's the one that is going to enter and really open the road for everything else. So this one was found and scouted and found in the skies. So let me introduce to you the bureau head for Industry 4.0, under which AI directly lies, Mr. David Gonahasa. He's from private sector, and his intersection with you will be an interesting one. So the alchemistry begins to work. Please don't stay rigid in your corners. Bureaucracy doesn't work with progress. Ladies and gentlemen, I must emphasize the role of universities in the innovation ecosystem. The university, besides being a locus of knowledge, it should always interact with other innovation ecosystem actors. This has been limited in the past, and no wonder we have very good research that only ends up in nice publications and shelved prototypes. I've always threatened to do a tour of Makerere to identify all those prototypes lying somewhere. I think I'm going to execute the threat. I haven't been to many. So to turn this around, universities and other institutions of higher learning, the private sector, government agencies, and the wider public must closely be knit together. Good prototypes must be improved and commercialized. We aim to make Uganda a technology hub. And at this juncture, I would like to give 3 minutes to David to interject here and give a hint on, because after this symposium, so what? You go back to class, go back to the lab, and do what next? So, David, I'll come back after him.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, the university leadership, distinguished guests. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is David Gonahasa, and I'm an entrepreneur. And what that means is that I have learned to build products that solve people's problems. One of the biggest questions that we've had, or that I've been asked constantly, is why is it that while you have so many great innovations in Uganda, you have Innovation Weeks, Science Weeks, we don't see that much Ugandan technology breaking through to the continent or to the market in general. A few months ago, there was announcements about companies raising $250 million, $300 million at ridiculous valuations in about 2 to 3 years. And there is no difference between us and those people. The one thing they've learned to do is to build technology that solves problems. As much as we use the buzzwords like artificial intelligence, predictive analysis, machine learning, the truth is that every day you use these technologies, but many of you do not know that you're using them. What you actually relate to is the utility that you have around using them. Predictive analysis will tell you, you know, because you are buying this, you should buy that. Or, you know, there's so many different areas that actually work. So my challenge to the scientists and innovators is that build technology that solves problems, but also solves problems that are commercially viable and that people are willing to buy. Who is your market? Is it the government? If you're creating a great AI solution to be able to track cattle in Karamoja, please know who is going to pay for it. Because you cannot keep going back to government and saying, we need more budget, more budget, more budget. You need to build tech that someone is willing to pay for and be able to work. As I conclude, 2 things I'd like to say is, avoid the trap of creating solutions looking for problems. You build a product, and now you're looking for someone who's going to pay for it, but no one really wants it. The other thing is that you only achieve sustainability when someone actually pays for the solution that you're creating because it creates value to them. And this is what we at the Industry 4.0 Bureau are going to be focusing on. It's great innovations yet, yes, but our focus is there a market for what you're building? Can we quickly build a minimum viable product? Can we test it? Can we use the results to be able to match it to investment? Or find funding to be able to help you actually build something that works? Thank you very much.
Okay, so the way STIOP is set up, we have 2 superintendencies. One is the industrial value chain development, and the other one is support services. Support services is supposed to make sure that there is support. So under support services, we have some unique offices. We already have some officers there. So don't simply, I know you come up with very good innovations. Come and iterate and discuss. We have the one-stop center. We have the startup support office, which supports the commercialization. So there are all those things are now there for you to come and interact, so that as you develop, we are developing for the market. If you are developing for a market which is also begging for money, it's likely that at one time there's going to be self-destruction of the innovation, because you can't keep putting in funding, grants, what. It has to move out of that into commercial viability. Someone has to be consuming it and willing to buy it. So since I started interacting with Makerere as my prototype, when I was head of Preside, there's been a lot of progress made. I have one hurdle to change the university's thinking, and that hurdle is throwing out the outdated thinking about training. I sit on your quality assurance committee, and I don't see why we have challenges at university level quickly changing the way we train and what we are training in to the future, to the present. Why we are still training people for the past? Because most of the training here is in history. And our children don't fit in. They don't find a front line. And the issue is that there's too much bureaucracy. How do we create living curricula which are not stuck? And we need a modern and future curriculum framework. We need curriculum frameworks, not rigid curriculum. We need curriculum frameworks. I was at the Global Government Summit in Dubai, and the big slogan is the next biggest merger is government and technology. That's the next biggest merger. We cannot do that when it takes us 5 years to approve a new curriculum and get some younger people on those curriculum review committees. It's not that, yes, the professors know what they know, but how can we get some young people who are going to live the future to be part onto these curriculum reviews, because this future is theirs. And sometimes we are making decisions which are detrimental to their future because some of us are in the past. So I had written here, and I will request the acting vice chancellor to take this message verbatim. I need modern and future curriculum framework which gives me the workforce I need. For example, the things David is talking about, we don't have people who understand the transition between the innovations in science and the market. Where are they being trained? Who is building that? And that's where they are going. And Professor here talked about most of the careers we are training people for are going to be extinct very soon. Very, very soon. So how do we log into, and curriculum is very, very important. And as Makerere is, so is university education in Uganda. So Professor Nawangwe, as I am requesting for a specific symposium for us to work through the relevant training which will produce the workforce we need. It's very urgent, so I'll wait for you to inform me when it should happen, if possible, before the end of this financial year. Thank you for your diligent work and wish you the best in this symposium. It's now my pleasure to declare the symposium officially open.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I think she deserves a standing ovation. Thank you. And the objective of that was double-pronged to keep us awake. So we're now transition into our first keynote speech. But before that, would like to take a group photo with the Honorable Minister. I'll request, I think we can have the photo at the front. I'll request Professor Kawoya, Engineer Dr. Serugunda, David, Dr. Katumba, and Dr. Joyce to join the photo. I think we can have it here. Yeah, I think we can do it down here. Yes. Okay. I need. I need guidance. I think we can have it up there. Yeah. Have it up there. Yeah. Yeah. I think let's. The media team, please take charge.